Lesotho, we had the Prime Minister of Lesotho coming through, Malawi, the President Lazarus Chakwera, from Tanzania as well, Dr. Hassan, and the new Namibia President, Dr. Nangolo Mpumba. And you also had the opportunity to speak to them. Give us their perspective.
Kuhodhawo kurima senda vanotidzidzisa maitirikiro acho kuti dzinyatsoita zvakanaka munoita sei, tinotenga chikafu ikoko, madhiringi ati vanotipa, mafidha, mishonga yacho zvese. Ndiri kufara notukudza acho aiwa dzinokura zvakanaka dzakanaka, aiwa zvakarongeka, vari kutidetsera chaizvo kurima senda. Kurima kune mari zveshuwa. Tiri kutozvionera tega.
It is that a lie ahead for the SADC region. And I also managed then to speak with the Namibian president, Dr. Mbumba, and he also said SADC countries must continue talking together, must continue engaging to talk about development, to talk about economic opportunities. We know that SADC is endowed with a lot of resources.
Absolutely.
And he says, member states must take advantage of these natural resources to invest within themselves, to invest within the youths for economic development.
And that has been the talking point, hasn't it, over the last number of years, the issue of the industrialization of SADC. SADC should then be able to get as much using the resources that they have and get much investment promotion from their own resources, and the going along with the mantra of the president of Nyika Inovakwa Nevenevayo, something that he highlighted again yesterday, that SADC, Inovakwa Nevenevayo, that's pretty much what SADC has been driving and should be this focus point of this 44th summit.
Yes, indeed. Yesterday we saw the president delivering that lecture at the University of Zimbabwe, and he said SADC should take advantage of these opportunities of meetings such as this to throw about ideas of how to build our nations, how to build our regional economies. And as you alluded, he said, Nyika dzinovakwa nevenevadzo, dzigonamatirwa nekutonga nevenevadzo. And this is the message that we hope that regional leaders will talk about, aside from issues of enhancing peace and security.
Absolutely.
How can these regions, how can these countries within SADC and beyond come together and build economies that are able to sustainably develop themselves, self-support? You talk about the SADC Council of Ministers. The now chairperson and Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Ambassador Frederick Shaw, said there is need for SADC member states to finance the organ, to finance the grouping, so that they are able to push forward the industrialization agenda of the region for an enhanced economy.
And obviously that was the talking point when the outgoing SADC chair, that's President Lorenzo from Angola, did visit the SADC Secretariat, speaking about the need to finance activities of the Secretariat so that regional integration becomes not just something that is talked about, but it becomes a living reality.
And that is the whole point of it. How can we build a SADC by SADC for SADC? The vision of Africa. How do we build African solutions to the challenges that we face? And these are the aspirations, when we're looking at the theme that Zimbabwe is proposing for the 44th of Summit, looking at innovation, looking at homegrown solutions for enhanced growth for the people.
And fantastic, we have seen the preparations that have been put in place to ensure that this becomes a successful summit, outside of the infrastructure, but also just the general excitement, that is the buzz that is within the air ahead of this summit.
Indeed, Harare and everyone is excited. We are here at the magnificent VVIP lounge at the Robert Mugabe International Airport. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It has been beautifully built, and it shows, the mantra of building Zimbabwe by ourselves. Yeah. And we have seen that Zimbabwe is able to develop itself. And, as President Emerson Mnangagwa said, we are not building this for SADC. We are building this for ourselves. SADC will come and go, but our people, our economic drive, our development drive and aspirations will move forward. And this is what we have seen by the Second Republic.
And I've also liked that outside of Zim, there's always been that cooperation between presidents of SADC themselves. I know that President Chakwera is just coming from a 2-day state visit in Mozambique, and that is the spirit that the regional bloc is intending to have and would like to have all the time, isn't it?
That is the true spirit we have seen. And meetings such as these are seen as an opportunity for bilateral and multilateral discussions between and amongst SADC member states, between Zimbabwe and another country, between Malawi and Zambia, between Zambia and another country, between Seychelles and Zimbabwe. It is also a platform where leaders from different levels are able to interact and exchange knowledge on building economies. Yesterday Dr. Mumba did highlight that one country can learn from another, and that is this opportunities that we have here. What can one country learn? We understand that leaders will visit Geopomon on Sunday, and this is it said maybe what can Zimbabwe show to the region, that is, this is what Zimbabwe is doing towards waste management, which might build towards climate response mechanism by not only Zimbabwe but maybe SADC as a region, as we continue to respond to calamities that are rising.
I also found it very interesting yesterday that part of the delegation of the president of Tanzania, I saw the former president of Tanzania, Dr. Jakaya Kikwete, and I found that to be interesting, where you also have former presidents coming in to obviously work with the current leadership to see how best the output of the region will be.
Indeed, exchange of ideas from the previous leadership to now, exchange of ideas, how economies can be built and developed. And I also like that the president of Jakaya Kikwete is an important and something big for Zimbabwe to be hosting at this time.
And one of the things, obviously, that will come to the fore that we obviously have to speak about has been the climatic shocks that the region has faced. Right now, we are the El Nino-induced drought, and 3 countries have declared a state of emergency. That includes Zimbabwe. But key to what has happened has been the declaration by the region that no one is going to go hungry.
Indeed, heads of state met for a virtual extraordinary summit, and they committed a $5 million United States appeal fund. And the response has been magnificent. Even locally here, we have seen government has put in place mechanisms of food droppings, cash support, so that in the spirit of leaving no one and no place behind, President Mnangagwa said no one is going to die of hunger. And we have seen a response. Zimbabwe has also supported other countries. Other countries have also supported Zimbabwe. So we are seeing a regional response to a crisis. And according to the SADC Executive Secretary, His Excellency Elias Makosi, SADC can respond, and that is what should be in place, because calamities are always going to rise. Absolutely. But how can regional organizations like SADC, like the African Union, respond to these calamities, and how can member states build towards resilience and climate response mechanisms?
So that's what we're bringing to you here from Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport. We're going to be here the whole of today as we welcome the heads of state that are coming for the 44th SADC Summit. Already, like we indicated earlier on, that we've had the Prime Minister of Lesotho, Honorable Sam Matekane, coming, and Malawi's President, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, from Tanzania, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, and also Namibia, Dr. Nongole Mbumba. We are still expecting more heads of state, and we'll constantly update you here on the station to give you the latest of what will be taking place from Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport.
Thank you so much there to Butler and Oline giving us the rundown on the airport arrivals of various heads of state, which will be making their way to Zimbabwe for the 44th SADC Summit, which will be taking place at Mount Hampton. Looking forward to the engagements there, Farai, especially considering our Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport after its refurbishment of the international extension with the arrivals.
Inhle sibona lapho inkundla yeni okufikela khona izindizamshina is so beautiful. Kuhle siyabonga sure, and umhlangano weSADC lo usuyenelise ukuthi iZimbabwe izitshengisa ukuthi ingaphi. Sibona ukuthi konke sokuphelile, konke sokulungile nje ukuthi kuqhutshwe umhlangano.